Okay. All right, then. Let's move straight to our next conversation. And our next conversation, for many young Nigerians, the dream of a better life abroad often ends in exploitation and losses. This realities came to light again as the federal government received 231 trafficked youths rescued from Ghana. An operation carried out by Ghana's Economic and Organized Crime Office led to the rescue of the victims who were reportedly lured with false promises. The returnees, aged between 15 and 38, were handed over to the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, and the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, for profiling and reintegration support. Now let's hear from the chairperson of NIDCOM, Abike Dabirero, and other officials.
You're back home. Now, NAPTIP, who will be responsible for you after this, will definitely, profile you.
Well, looking at this, an emotional moment, looking at this, an emotional moment, and a stark reminder of the dangers of human trafficking. But this is a case of man's inhumanity to man, isn't it?
This particular case of human trafficking is particularly surreal. I've never seen anything like this. They usually traffic people to turn them to slaves, sex objects in those countries. They make them to do prostitution. In this case, people were trafficked, young men and women between the age of 15 to 38, taken to Ghana, kept in a building, in an apartment, where they were made to do advance fee fraud, which is also known as Yahoo business. That is what they were doing there. So it's different compared to the cases that we've had in the past. They usually end up as sex slaves over there. They will become prostitutes, they will turn to prostitutes, and they will tell them that there is an amount of money that they must make before they can earn their freedom. That is what, and they are usually made to swear on oath, this and that. So in this case, trafficking people, taking them beyond the shores of our country, and then harming them with a laptop, like the one in front of you, with a laptop, and using them for advanced fee fraud, teaching them advanced fee fraud, and conning people far away from the prying eyes of the EFCC and ICPC. Exactly. This is the first time I'm hearing something like this. I've never heard that people will be trafficked to a country where they will now be used as advanced fee fraudsters, where they will be used as Yahoo boys and girls. This is the first time. And this will open our eyes to the possibility of this kind of racket actually going on in some of the African countries where they usually traffic our people. I don't know what idea these people had to have taken people from Nigeria to go and work as Yahoo boys in Ghana. But we must give credit to the Ghanaian authorities, the Ghana Economic and Organized Crime Office, for the raid that led to this big discovery and the rescue of these young men and women. And Abike Dabiri, we also need to give her credit because she jumped in. Look, the person at NAPTIP is new. She does not have the experience of like the person who used to be there. So she's still learning the ropes, and this sort of thing happened. you need an Abike Dabiri. It's not her responsibility. Let's get that clear. It's not her responsibility. It is NAPTIP's responsibility.
Exactly.
NAPTIP is the agency of government
Prohibition.
that goes after those who traffic people, traffic human beings. So Abike Dabiri, that's not her business. But she chose to jump in so that she can lend a hand to the NAPTIP people.
Exactly.
And also use her contacts.
Okay, our contacts, okay.
And what is it called? Experience in this kind of matters, you know, to see how she can mobilize for those guys to be brought in. And I'm happy Airtel got involved. Wema Bank got involved.
The first lady.
The first lady, I guess, was even the first lady that helped them to reach out to those who now helped to bring these people home. And Abike Dabiri said two things that I find significant. That the people behind this will not be allowed to go scot-free.
Very key.
Second, that those who want to go to school amongst those kids, amongst those young men and women, will be assisted. That is good news for me.
Very.
When people are in this kind of distress, government has to step in, see what they can do, because no one likes to find himself in this kind of situation. It's because of the precarious state of the economy that's pushing people to take extreme measures. Okay. At the end of the day, you get lured into the lion's den. All of the people making all kinds of promises, and then they discover that these are just people out to use them.
Absolutely. You know? All right, we need to go on this quick break. And when we return, GKB, I'm going to be asking you that. How will you advise young Nigerians about overseas jobs that seems too good to be true? We'll be back after this break. So before we went on that break, I asked you, how will you advise young Nigerians, vulnerable Nigerians, about overseas jobs that seem too good to be true?
That's what they call the Murphy's Law. If something appears too good to be true, usually it is. But it will be very difficult to convince the Nigerian, based on the access to internet and access to information all over the world, that the other side is not better than this place.
Okay.
It's going to be extremely difficult. The only thing we can advise them is that let Nigeria provide, the environment for them to thrive in such a way that they don't need to go outside. Because don't let me lie to you, I know people of my age who are even right now preparing to check out. And you ask them, you are already 60 years old. What are you going to do there? I said, it's better. So, not to talk of the young ones who have no ties with Nigeria. So, the only way to stop them or to encourage them not to go is essentially to provide the environment that will allow them to thrive. Don't forget, a lot of Nigerians are making it at home here.
Absolutely.
They're not traveling anywhere. But because of what they see on TV, what they look at internet, they assume the other side, the grass is greener. But I can tell you from experience, that is not so. There are things you enjoy here in Nigeria as a human being that you cannot enjoy when you're outside in Nigeria, usually when your papers are not complete.
Absolutely.
Because I'm coming to this studio now, I have no item of ID on me. I cannot do that in the US. I cannot do that in some countries. If I left the house and I realize I don't have any form of identification on me, I have to go back and pick it. In Nigeria, I don't need it because I'm here at home. You understand? So there are things you enjoy. Stay in Nigeria, be in Nigeria.
That kind of freedom.
Freedom. You can do whatever you want, but you can't do abroad. Like I said, only the government, governors, local government chairmen can provide the environment. But to tell them, don't go, will be a lie, because they realize that their brother left 3 months ago. He has sent a car. Their auntie left for Italy 2 weeks ago. She has sent a bus. That's what they see. Meanwhile, they don't understand whether the correlation is the same. They don't know what the woman is going through there.
Okay.
They don't know how she's getting the money. They will not even know whether they stole the car. So it's going to be very difficult to convince them not to go, except the fact that we make Nigeria...
Role of parents in this matter. Role of opinion leaders, religious leaders.
You know what we've done before
Yes.
on this program? There is a society for girls in Italy, in Benin at a point in time. Parents get together and form a society of people who are in Italy doing prostitution. Just like we have
So the parents even encourage them just to go.
Even recently, about 2 years ago, we heard of a group in Ekorodu, Association of Mothers of Yahoo Yahoo. They have a secretariat and all that. Yeah, they do things like this. So you have to understand. It's not going to be...
Even some of those parents are the ones encouraging them.
Yeah.
That's a very sad
the ones
situation.
encouraging them. You see, we need to make our currency stronger.
True.
Sometimes when I criticize the CBN governor and demand that he can do better in terms of strengthening the value of our currency, people imagine that maybe I don't like him. It's not, I don't have to like anybody. I just like my job. Without liking my job, I won't be able to do some of the things that I do. The motivation is an extreme one to do the things that I do. So I don't have to like anybody in government. And I'm not afraid to make my point clear. You know, those who thought that I wasn't that kind of person, I think their mouths have been put in a permanent position of shut up now, given that what they didn't expect me to do was what I did. They didn't expect me to not take back. They expected me to take back what I said.
Exactly.
Or take a back tea. Not me. Okay. If our currency is stronger, people will not be as encouraged to go abroad as they are now.
Exactly.
They believe that, oh, if I go to the US and I make $1,000, that's a lot of money when converted to our currency.
True.
1,000.
1.5 million.
Yes. You know what? Yes, 1.6 or 59, hovering between the black market 59,
160.
Yes, 59, 60. So the currency is stronger. People will stay a lot more here. Economic migration is not peculiar to Nigeria. There are many Americans who chose to even learn the Chinese language so that they can go and work there. There are so many like that who are working in China. They've learned the language. There are Americans who have chosen to go and live in Dubai. They find it a very good place, you know, to stay, and they decided to go and stay there. That currency, the value of that currency is a big problem. Even our neighbors, since their currencies are stronger than ours now, you see that they are able to pack a lot of agri-produce from here.
Exactly.
Because it's cheaper. So they will come and buy in bulk. Somebody even told me that this Marco Polo buses, that he has seen some of our neighbors come into Nigeria and load food, agri-produce in Marco Polo buses to take to their country.
Head of customs.
And I've seen even, there was a time when I was working in Yobe, I saw Nigerian trucks
From Cameroon.
being taken across the border to Niger Republic. You know, our people have talent
Also, you know,
piling. You see how high it is, like a story building. They are going across the border. The currency is the major enabler of that state of affairs. So we need to, and when we were growing up, when our currency was stronger, the economic migration
it wasn't this
bad.
Yes,
it wasn't this bad. It wasn't like this. People, what is the motive? They said to go to school. You go to school on scholarship
so
and you come back.
Universities here, go abroad.
Yes.
It's those who cannot make it here that will go abroad.
They go and they'll come back. to come and work here. So things must improve, starting with the currency. For me, is the major starting point. We must manage our currency the right way. We must increase production across the board, not just agri-production.
Okay.
It's such a shame that those buildings synonymous with textile production and all that, they've been taken over by churches.
Yeah.
Where some pastors are preaching what is not in the Bible. Where some pastors will be telling you that it is obscene, it is unheard of to be poor. Where did you see that in the Bible? The Bible recognizes that we can't all be rich, and it admonishes those who are rich to help the poor. What are we talking about? All those warehouses now, they are now churches. Nobody is saying let Christianity not be expanded. But we need to come back to producing a lot more. That will help our currency. And the issue of the yam is still there. Every time I talk about it all the time. Ghana, there is potential in livestock. We need to recognize that that potential is there. Let us be like Botswana, making so much money from livestock, exportation, from exporting livestock. So coming back, we talked about the role of parents. Parents, I know that parents can be very impatient.
Okay.
When you trained a child through school, you train your ward through school, and there's no job, they too will be encouraging them to find somewhere to do. It's just like a mother who has seen her daughter grow into adulthood and moving on. She growing in adulthood and no suitor. They will start piling pressure on her to bring a husband home.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, she may even go and bring a wife beater.
Because of the pressure.
Yes, because of the pressure. And then she may find someone who is not truly a friend. And then they will be quarreling and quarreling. Marriage breaks up. They didn't know each other sufficiently.
Absolutely.
So I believe that parents have a big role to play. True. And in Edo State, when you look at the figures of these people who are rescued, Edo had 76 out of the 231 traffickers, trafficked persons. 76, one state. Anambra 6, Delta 17, Bayelsa 13, Imo 19, Enugu 12, Ebonyi 8, Cross River 7, Abia 7, Niger 4, Akwa Ibom 2, Kogi 6, Ondo 1, and Osun 1. So you can see that Edo is high up there. Eke Igbinedion, wife of the former governor of the state, tried her best to do something about this human trafficking in Edo State, especially sending people to Italy to do prostitution. This is proof that the woman, yes, she did her best, but the problem is still there.
Absolutely.
I don't want to diminish our work. The problem is still there.
Absolutely.
There is a need to address this problem, and I hope Governor Monday Okwebolo is listening. They should realize that Edo, having 76 of these people,
it is
when even the closest to them had 19. Imo, closest to them had 19, and you had 76. There's a problem in Edo State that has to be addressed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our final conversation.